I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. And in this video, we are going to chase and repousse a beautiful pendant out of 22 karat apricot gold. But don't worry, these techniques work in a lot of different metals. So whether you're working in silver or brass or copper, or gold, silver, whatever, they'll work just fine. So just to kind of show you what I did so far, here's my enamel. This is not soldered on here yet. Ooh, I did fit it tight though. Ooh. So I made a bezel that fit very beautifully around my enamel, nice and tight. And then I made a wire that fit exactly inside that bezel. That wire I soldered down to here, and then inside it I just sort of soldered a bunch of what I hope will be pretty, just these nice kind of wavy lines, because I'm going to repousse between the lines. I wasn't looking for, I just wanted some like nice curves, something that would kind of pick up what's happening here in the enamel. I'm making this pendant for Denny, and Denny was like, you know, you can just be like totally simple, bezel, back sheet, whatever. And I was like, well, okay, but you know, it would be nice if maybe we had a little repousse on the back, just like, I don't know, I just wanted to add a little fun. So what I did is, you know, I've been testing out this alloy of apricot gold, this 22 karat apricot, which like I'm in love with. It's incredibly beautiful, love it. So I did all of this in apricot gold. I also did the same thing for the bail. I soldered, this is all apricot, 22 karat. I soldered the wires down to the back sheet, and then I'm gonna repousse it, and then I'll bend it. Now this is a technique we use a lot on bails and things like that. And a lot of times we just do it like right on a folded up paper towel or something like that, something really simple. In this case, I'm gonna do it in the pitch bowl for this, because I wanna make sure that this doesn't warp, because it has to come out of that pitch bowl still fitting, you know, fitting this bezel like exactly, because then that's how this is going to be put together. I'm going to fit this over the wire that I made and solder it together. So I guess really technically the bail I could just do, you know, right on a paper towel, and this I'll do in the pitch bowl. So like I said, this is a technique we use a lot. It's really easy and it's really pretty. So just so you can see a close-up, here is the beautiful enamel. Love it. There's the bezel I made that fits my enamel exactly. There's my gorgeous apricot gold. And I soldered these wires down, you know, the outside first to fit the bezel, and then all the little inside ones. And then this is what I did for my bail. Now, when I do stuff like this, I usually do a quick test in like silver or copper, not soldering it down, but I just experiment with the wire work a little bit and try to get some of the general, like the general framework, so that I know it's gonna work, like that it's not gonna be too wide and all that kind of thing. So I played around with a little bit of sample wire, and then I went right to soldering down my apricot gold. So I did do a little bit of flattening of these and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do a last annealing. I mean, normally you solder and that makes them as soft as possible, but I did kind of hammer these a little bit to flatten them out and fool around a little bit. So just for giggles, I'm gonna anneal, and then I'll get ready to put them in the pitch. But because this is apricot gold, anytime you have this fancy colored gold and you want that color to stay exactly the same, we're gonna use a fire coat. So I'm gonna dip it in the fire coat, burn that off, and then do my annealing. And that way you won't get any of that enrichment at the surface. As you've probably heard me discuss before, that's also a way that you can do sterling like that to prevent any kind of fire scale or anything like that, which we don't really have happen in the studio all that often, but if you're doing a big thick piece, it's taking a lot of heating, you know, it can happen. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna stir these baby around in the fire coat. I'm gonna burn it off, anneal, pickle, and then into the pitch it goes. So if you remember from before, our studio made fire coat, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna kind of stir it up, and I'm gonna dip my stuff in it. Because, you know, this, when this stuff sits around, it settles like this, so you just have to stir it up. Be careful not to like splash it all over the place. There's alcohol in there, it is flammable. I always try to stir it a little slowly. Okay, I'm gonna lean it right up against there. Same thing with my bale. And then I'm just gonna ignite them. It's gonna burn off the alcohol, it'll burn off a little green, which is fun. Put the lid on this before I get my torch lit up. You see the pretty green? Oh, I love it. It's fun, a little pyrotechnics in the studio. It's a beautiful thing. And now I'm going to actually anneal, and this will, this will protect it from getting oxidized and bringing up more pure gold to the surface, which in the case of a colored gold is not what you want. You want to keep the color of the alloy just the way it is. Okay, that should be good. So I'm gonna let it cool, I'm gonna pickle it, and then we'll get ready to put it in the fish bowl. This is what it looks like after annealing. So you can see it didn't really oxidize very much. The color should be pretty much the same as it was. So I'll pickle this off of here.